Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, 7 o'clock at night. We are back with one more show of the Neighborhood News. Every Tuesday, 7 o'clock, we show you a new show. If you are watching this show and it's not a Tuesday night, it's because you're watching a repeat show. So please come back next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, and we'll be here with a new show. For the Portuguese listeners out there, sejam bem-vindos para mais programa de notícias da sua vizinhança. É terça-feira, aqui no canal 95, às 7 horas da noite, nós estamos de volta com mais programa para si. Não se esqueça que amanhã, às 8 horas da noite, nós estamos de novo aqui no estúdio com o programa em língua portuguesa chamado Amigos. E nós temos também convidados. Nós vamos estar quarta-feira, portanto, amanhã à noite, aqui de novo convosco. I want to remind everybody that tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 o'clock at night, you can tune in for our Portuguese show called Amigos. It's taped right here on the Sim Studio, and but it goes out on the on Wednesday 8 o'clock through the channel 95 on the cable. But you can follow us live on YouTube and on Facebook. Today we have guests again, and I just run in. That's a good thing that when we tape the show, because I just run in, and believe it or not, I didn't even ask the names of the guests, so I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves.
I'm Ben Coleman. I'm a math teacher at Talbot here in the city.
Very good.
And I'm Lorraine Gagne. I'm a teacher at Watson School, elementary school.
Very good. So we have two teachers in two of our adopted schools on our neighborhoods, Talbot and Watson. And Rebecca is from Fonseca School, what she could be with us here today because of we tape on the same night of city council meetings, and I think she needs to be there. And what we're going to be talking about is the famous question 2. That people will be voting, and the brief conversation that we had over the when we were not taping was the fact that, and I just threw my hat on the crowd saying that I really don't know yet where I'm going to vote for, and for the reason that I don't think that I have enough information to make my decision. I heard a couple of shows. I heard Rebecca in a couple of shows, and I heard people calling in. And I mean, at this point, it's not the information that I need to hear. The information that I'm hearing out there is that it's all about money. And I think at the end of the day, that should not be the reason that we vote for. I'm pretty sure that both sides going to have to give people that are undecided like me the correct answers to many questions. And I would like to say too that for those already made up their minds, they probably have something that they can, something went their way, and they feel that they want to, and they make that decision. Either they had kids already on charter school, or if they have kids that never made to charter school, and now they're like, you know, if my kid was not good enough to be on the charter school, I'm not going to vote for. So it's, like I said, it's a lot of missing information. And we're running out of time to get that information out to the voters.
So why don't we start with defining what a good school system is? Mm-hmm. Why don't we talk about what a good school system is? Mm-hmm. So if you were designing a school system, what would you want it to do? Mm-hmm. What's the most important thing that a school does?
I think education, they're there to learn. So I think that doesn't matter which color the school painted outside.
Sure. Yep.
Doesn't matter how many windows the school have.
Okay. But what's the reason?
What I need is the kids to get a good education.
Okay, why do they need a good education?
For the future, so
To prepare them for the future.
For the future,
okay?
yes.
So to prepare for the future, college, trade school, that's important. Okay.
Wow, I got one down.
Yep,
I'm doing good.
I agree. I agree. We need to prepare our kids for the
Yes.
future. How about? Is it important that you know where the money is going? Is that an important thing?
Yes, it's important because I think especially when it comes down to budgets, a lot of people vote for the big number, but we never got the numbers between and how we got to that big number. What actually our money is paying for.
So it's important that you can find out where your money's going.
Exactly.
I as a taxpayer think that's very important too. What else is important to have in a school system? What's important?
Go ahead.
What's important to me?
Yeah, what's important?
Diversity,
Diversity.
including all.
Okay, so educates all students. All students are welcome.
This country is built on great schools, great public schools. I have a book at home about all the important people who came right out of Fall River. They didn't go to charter schools. They went to Durfee High School. They went to our public schools.
And I think that the problem we're having is just like we don't mix church with politics, this should be a third party that should not be mixed with politics. And I think that's a big issue, you know, and especially in Fall River.
I think that's probably too much to wish for. How about good instruction? Is that important?
Sure. Yeah.
Good
yeah, I think
instruction,
so.
good teachers.
Well, I have something to say about that.
What else?
I don't think people understand that a lot of the teachers who work in charter schools are not even licensed in the state of Massachusetts. If you're looking for excellence in schools, why would you want unlicensed teachers? And the turnover rate in Fall River is very high. We all know that. We just went through that. But in charter schools, it's even higher. Teachers do not stay. So as far as a parent, I am a parent. My children went to Fall River Public Schools through elementary school. I don't want a new teacher teaching my kid every year. Because honestly, it takes years to become a seasoned teacher, to understand what the kids need, to be prepared and ready for all the challenges that you're facing.
If you want to find out how much a Fall River Public Schools teacher makes, you can just search it on the web and our contract will come right up. And you'll be able to see how much our public school teachers make. If you want to find out how much money a charter school teacher makes here in the city, it's not. It's privileged information. It's not available to you. On average, throughout the country, charter school teachers are paid 25 to 30% less than regular public school teachers. They also, on average, work about 20% more hours. So they're paid less and they're working longer hours. So if you're getting paid less and you're working longer hours, how likely are you to stay? I think that's an important consideration, especially since we have a teacher shortage already.
And we probably could compare this to if a person gets mad because public money is being used in a private way, people get upset. People get upset when public employees go clean a private property.
Yes.
Because it's everybody's tax going into a private. So this is going to fall right into the same. So a person that is against private tax or public tax money being used into a private entity should be against the same tax being used where you cannot see where the money is getting spent.
Right. If you want to find out where $10 was spent at Fall River Public Schools, you can find out. If you want to find out about any of the expenses at the charter schools, they have to be willing to tell you. They're not obligated to tell you anything financially. As soon as you ask for something financial, they claim they're a private organization and they don't have to divulge that information. Okay? So it's very different in transparency.
The public schools have a school committee. that oversees everything. They're watching. And the city council has to vote on our budget. Yeah. And there's a board of directors when you go to the charter schools. Who's watching them? We talk about transparency all the time, but where's the transparency there? So every school, if this vote goes through and people vote yes on number 2, they could open up to 12 charter schools a year in the state of Massachusetts. Right now, we're not even at the cap of how many charter schools they can open in the state. We now have 81, I believe, I'm not sure, I think it's 120. So we're already short. If they could possibly take over the city of Fall River's schools. If they open 12, they're targeting areas like Fall River and New Bedford and the urban communities.
If that is the case, and let's just...
Well, can we move back just for one second? We were talking about transparency.
Yes.
Okay? So, and you thought transparency was important. So, based on the information you've received, do you think charter schools are transparent?
Over there, I see already a conflict.
Okay. So we've got, I'm going to put okay. All right. So already we've got one problem with charter schools. Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. It's okay. And what I was saying is supposedly that we end up with 12 schools. Okay.
That's theoretically.
Exactly. Okay, let's see, because they're probably going to, if that passes, they're probably just going to open 1, 2, and then as the year goes and it keeps going. But what's going to end up happening with the public schools?
So
if we get 12 schools.
Okay, that's where we need to talk about accepting all students, because one of the things that we decided was good about a public school system is that they accept everyone. So maybe we should talk about charter schools and in Fall River, and how they accept students.
Okay, so I already heard that they don't accept special needs, and I already heard that they do accept special needs. So
well, let's start with Joe Friday.
Okay.
Remember Dragnet? Just the facts, please. I brought some data.
Okay.
Okay. And so this is Fall River Public Schools.
Okay.
And this is the demographics for Fall River Public Schools. And on this chart, you can see that Fall River Public Schools is 58% white, 24% Hispanic, 4% Asian, 7% African American, and 7% multi-race.
Okay.
Okay, that's Fall River Public Schools. Let's look at Argosy. Argosy is 69% white. So remember, in Fall River Public Schools, we were 58%. Now, Argosy is 69%, 16% Hispanic, only 1% Asian, and 8% African American. Okay?
Okay.
And now let's look at Atlantis, and this is striking. Atlantis Charter School is 82% white. It's only 9% Hispanic, 2% Asian, 4% African American, and 3% multi-race non-Hispanic. This is data from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Okay? You can go to their website and obtain this data. Fall River Public Schools has almost 3 times the number of Hispanic students as Atlantis. How is it possible in this city for that difference to exist? How, if Atlantis says they're accepting all students, how could they not have more Hispanic students applying? Why is it that we don't have more Hispanic students at Atlantis? And this 82% white versus 58% white, I find it a little disturbing that it is so different from the city's demographic. I think Argosy does better, but I'm deeply concerned about Atlantis.
And the argument a lot of people have is that they're schools of choice. It's the parents' choice. I don't see it as a schools of choice. That would mean that when you go to register your child at Fall River Public Schools, because it is a public school, that would be right there in front of them. What school do you want? We already have schools of choice in Fall River. If there is enough room in a school that is not your district school, you can go to a different school if there is room. This is not a choice because they're not offering it to everyone. The parents have to seek it out. We have a large population of Hispanic. We have a large population of transient people who are coming into the city. No one's contacting them and saying, would you like to go to the charter school? That is not a public school. And schools of choice would mean something like, okay, we need a new high school. Let's open 2 high schools and we'll offer some programs at one high school and different programs at another high school. That's schools of choice. This is not schools of choice. We have pockets of excellence right here in our public schools. I mean, you can't compare every public school in Fall River with a different public school. I don't get the argument that it's schools of choice. It's parents who, and I've talked to parents who do not want their children in the regular public schools because of the demographics of that school.
And what is the demand? Do you have any information about the demand, like how many
list?
people? Yes, on the charter schools.
My understanding is the waiting list in Fall River is 412, I think it was, or 420, something like that. So a little bit over 400.
Okay.
Is the waiting list.
So it's we have about 10,000 students, right? I mean, last year was around 10,000.
Yeah, I think that's
10,000
right.
students.
There are also a lot of reports that children have been on those waiting lists for years and are in the regular public schools that, you know, they're not as accurate as we like to think they are.
And I think what my opinion probably is that the public schools are in a situation that they probably, how I'm going to say, they probably stuck with all what's going on. We have a lot of kids that the parents are not involved on their education, so those kids still going to school, and their problems getting resolved at the school instead of being resolved at home before they even get to school. And the teachers are resolving problems, family problems, that they should be resolved them at home. So, and on the other side, you have those kids that go to school because they want to learn, because they have their goal and they have their parents that really follow them every minute that they're in school. And I think that so it's problems being thrown at the education, okay, that it's not been handling the right way, getting parents upset, and trying to take the parents out of the school. And I had my daughter on a list for charter school. And why I had it? It's not because I don't believe on the public school education. It's not because I didn't trust the teacher. It was because of situations that was going on that I was not getting resolved, and I was not getting those answers. And that motivated me to, you know, if I have another choice, that's what I'm going to go. It's not because I want. I'm just thinking of the best of my daughter. And so she was never picked, and the issue kind of got resolved when it got worse. When we were trying to resolve the problem, nobody was listening. When it got worse, now goes up to the superintendent. Now the superintendent wants to act instead of the principal taking the action and fixing the problem. So that right there was my motivation to try to take her out of the public school. And so again, and she did good. She did good.
So I think we need to add something to our list of a good school, and it's got to be responsible to parents.
I can give you account of people parents from Watson School who are very, very happy, and other schools in this district who are very, very happy with the education their children are getting. You know, there are incidents that happen in every school. There are incidents that happen at the charter school. I think that's a human factor. I think it happens in every school. We're dealing with people and children, and it's a very difficult situation.
And I would probably, if my daughter end up on the charter school, they'll probably end up not happy to, you know, because I'm the kind of a parent that I want and I demand. If it's something that, you know, somebody else is getting and I'm paying for, I want it too.
Okay, and so this is another problem with charter schools, is that they may ask your daughter to leave. And if we go back to accepting all students for a minute, one of the things that people need to know is that the charter schools don't accept any English language learners. They don't accept any of them. That burden is completely on Fall River Public Schools. They also, when they accept special education students, they send some of them back. So if a student is too challenging for them, they will send them back. If a student has a behavior problem, they will send them back. So that burden gets sent back to Fall River Public Schools. So can we talk about accepting all students, or make a decision about accepting all students? Do you think charter schools accept all students?
No, I don't think they do.
Okay.
Okay, I have a personal interest in this because I have a family member who went to summer school at Durfee, and they refused him because they said that he should not, they would accept him, he won the lottery, they would accept him in 9th grade, but not in 10th grade, even though he had fulfilled what they needed to fulfill at Durfee. Now, that kind of leaves a very bad taste in my mouth. This boy wanted to go to that school, but felt very rejected. So, is that right? If they show up at Durfee and they have issues, nobody says that to them. Nobody says, well, we'll accept you, but you're going to be in a lower grade.
Yes.
And the argument being that their criteria was different than our high school.
I'm happy that we covered some of the other questions that were out there, and I'm pretty sure if we put a room full of people, that the question's going to keep coming, you know, and so people could actually make decisions on it. I know you're trying to reach out as much you can through TV and radio and all of that, but is the school planning any public meetings about this question?
Officially, the school has no opinion.
Okay.
We're a public. We have our school department has no opinion on this issue.
Okay, but it's somebody.
People within our school department certainly have opinions on it.
Okay.
And the school committee has supported this.
Okay. Yes. So it's any intent of this, and I know you guys doing this on a voluntary basis. You know, you just want your voice and people to do the right thing and vote the right way. But on the meantime, it is. I know that we're going to have a debate and schedule. Help me. The dates. I forgot the dates.
Yeah, November. It's important that people know that if they vote no on 2, if they vote with us not to expand the cap, it will not affect their students at Atlantis or Argosy. All those seats are safe. Okay? So you can vote no on 2, and your kids will still be at the charter school if that's what you prefer.
We are not proposing that they close any charter schools that are existing. We just don't want more charter schools in the city.
Yeah, I understand that part. The debate's going to be right here on campus. Going to be right here at BCC, and I'm sorry I don't have the date. I should know that, but I don't have the date. But we will post it on the when we post the show. We will post the debate dates. So it's going to be, and so far I heard that the tickets are limited. People need to call for tickets. But it's a lot of people outside the city that are asking for tickets, not really from the city. And we want to see the people from the city, especially people with kids in school, that need to attend this debate.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the elections. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
I think the debate's on October 6th.
People's debates, I believe.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's on October. Mr. Ferry has set
Exactly.
that up.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it's on October 6th.
Okay.
And he did. I spoke with him the other day, and he said tickets were going quickly.
Exactly.
And that people were trying to reserve 10 and 15 tickets that were not from Fall River.
Exactly, yes.
And so, yeah, it would be good if Fall River people show
Because
for that.
again,
Yeah.
on that debate, we could get answers, you know, a lot of questions, and I think the questions coming from the public too, and I think that's a good forum to do. Moving forward, I will have no problem to bring you guys back again, and you know, even if we repeat ourselves, you know, as long as people getting the message, I will like to do that. For my Portuguese show, I would like to have somebody, Portuguese speaker, that could attend for my Portuguese show, because I think it's important too. Because believe it or not, we still have a community out there that don't speak English,
Very
and the
important.
kids are like learning the English still. And that's another thing with public schools is even if you don't speak English, you know, you can come in.
Yes, you're welcome if you don't speak English.
Exactly. So,
yes.
but for now, we have a couple of minutes. I would like to give a couple of minutes to you to wrap up your comments, and if it's anything, did we miss anything?
I look at this as a vote that is for right and wrong. This country was built on great public schools. We need to keep these public schools alive. And instead of spending extra money opening new schools, we need to fix every school in the Commonwealth. Every school. Fall River has done a wonderful job. We've made great strides in the past few years in our schools. I've been teaching here for a long time, and I see the changes that are here. We need to continue those changes, and unfortunately, it takes money, it takes manpower, and it takes commitment. And our city needs to be committed to our public schools, and that's really how I feel about it. It's really, you know, if we decide that every parent who is not happy takes their child out and puts them in a charter school so they're not getting the same education, we need to build that sense of community. We're losing that sense of community through doing that also.
We have the best public school system in the United States. I don't understand why we're gambling with it on this charter school ballot initiative. If you look at Louisiana and what's happened in New Orleans with charter schools, you see this just rampant destruction. A yes on 2 vote is going to open the floodgates. And do you want to see how easy it is to start a charter school? There's a book. All you need to do is buy this book. I'm not kidding.
You'll be all set.
How to succeed, how to start and successfully operate a charter school. And if a yes on 2 vote, people all over the state may start opening charter schools. They may have no credentials for doing that. You know, would you go to a surgeon that was a mechanic last week?
No, definitely no. But anyway, we are out of time. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next week at the same time, Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you.